In this video, I'm going to relate some of the names of some of the cities throughout what we call the Valley of the Sun, otherwise known as the Phoenix metro area. Now, there's actually a handful of small and medium sized and some very large cities throughout the Phoenix metro area here, almost out of my little town of Avondale. Now, I really don't know the origins of the actual name of Avondale. I know until the sometime in the mid 40s, it was known as Coldwater. I don't know if it was incorporated as Coldwater, but I think it was as an official, unofficial name. Now, Coldwater, now we got the Alfrea River that runs, well, pretty much it's just pretty much through the city of Avondale. That used to be on the east side. But anyway, that's what Alfrea means. Alfrea is a Spanish, Alfrea is a Spanish word for Coldwater. That's what it means. But I said it's that name Avondale. I'm going to have to do some research and see if I can find the origins. Probably just hit up the library and there is a storyboard over there. I've covered it once or twice. I actually went in the library. I've got a video from a couple of years ago. I just showed a storyboard of the history of the town of Avondale. It is in the library. I'll get over there again sometime and cover that. Anyway, now the city of Phoenix. Now that's that bird that burns itself in in a funeral pyre. If you ever see any of the city of Phoenix emblems, you always see a bird with flames surrounding it. Now that's I think it's Greek. I think it's a Greek mythology, but this bird would destroy itself in fire, and it rise from the ashes of its funeral pyre to become bigger and better and all that. Now, when they first settled the valley, I don't know, 1700s, 1800s, whenever the people, the Europeans, the Western, us Westerners, came in to settle this area. Because there'd been Native Americans living here for a long time. Of course, they had left sometime, but when they left, they left their farms and their irrigation canals. They would take, there was a number of rivers that would run free back in the day, and they had canals, where they'd irrigate these fields, but they were all kind of abandoned. When us Westerners had arrived here, so that's where the name Phoenix, comes from. These people said, well, we'll rebuild this city to become bigger and better, and to what we have today. That's the origin of the name Phoenix. That bird that destroys itself in a funeral, in flames, and it comes out of it to become bigger and better, and all that. Now the city of Mesa. Now Mesa is a Spanish word for table. Well, there's a lot of mountain ranges, that are flat on top, and sometimes they're referred to Mesa. It's just a higher raised. Well, the city of Mesa is higher higher in elevation than some of the surrounding areas. That's how the name Mesa, where the name Mesa comes from. Now there's other cities, like Tempe, Glendale, Tolleson, Scottsdale. Now let me get to Scottsdale for a second. Now Scottsdale has that reputation of being they call themselves the most western of. Well, it's a town for rich people. Probably that's a reputation. I'm sure there are poor people living in Scottsdale, but Scottsdale got the reputation of being a high society, um, town for rich people. That's just a reputation. That's not 100% true, but I've been there a few times, and it's pretty much like cities throughout the valley. It's got its good and bad points, I suppose. But that's pretty much covering the cities of the valley. Actually, I'm trying to think of anything the one thing that is actually part of Phoenix. They call it Deer Valley. The time I've been there, I don't see any deers, the four-legged antelope type deer. So I'm going to rename it Beer Valley, because I think there's more beer in Deer Valley than deers, just to be silly. I don't think that would stick. And there's Laveen. Laveen is another suburb of the city of Phoenix. I've done a fair amount of work down in Laveen. That's like south central Phoenix. Actually, a lot of rural farm, people with acreage and farm critters in there. I think but anyway, that's come the city throughout our metro Phoenix area, the Valley of the Sun. You go further west into the city of Buckeye. Buckeye is not really considered part of the Phoenix metro area because it's too far west. But Buckeye used to be a sleepy little farming town. Used to be a few thousand people live in Buckeye. I guess at one period of time, the planner down at Buckeye said, how far can we go? How far can we draw the lines in our city and they just started going further and further in each direction. Buckeye's not really limited to how far that can go. If you look at like Phoenix, Phoenix is pretty much bound by. I mean, you go almost any direction except north, and of course, Phoenix did that. When they took what's that one place north of Anthem. I get to Anthem if I can remember Anthem. But anyway, the city of Buckeye, not by total population, but by number of square miles within the city of Phoenix. The city of Buckeye is one of the largest cities on earth by land, by number of square miles within the city. Because if this, you got to go a long way when you go east and you hit Goodyear, which is probably about 15, 20 miles. That's something stupid. Hang on, let me clear that. But anyway, you go west from the city of Buckeye. Now, there's some small non-incorporated cities. Well, like out there where the nuclear plant is at, that's called Wintersburg. But Wintersburg is not really it's just an area. It's not really a town. Again, there's also Tonopah, but Tonopah is an area. It's not really an incorporated city. You got to hit not quite Quartzsite. There's a few cities. Is it Dayland? There's a few cities you hit before you hit Quartzsite. But the city of Buckeye's got to go for a long way before it hits another incorporated city. So the city of Buckeye is kind of free to incorporate more or less. Of course, I can see some of these small communities, maybe 50 miles from the city of Buckeye, say, look, if we're paying city taxes, we want city services. We want you to send garbage trucks out here. We want city water. We want police and fire out here. Maybe not, but I can just see the same. Some of the people in these small outlying communities, they say, hey, look, if we're going to be part of the city of Buckeye, we want city services. And the city of Buckeye is going to be kind of hard pressed to provide those city services, just kind of the logistics of extending your city out for miles and miles. Let's see, where else are they going to go with this? Now, city of Phoenix can go a little way south. Well, you hit, I think Gilbert. Gilbert's a city, Southeast Valley. Chandler. I've already covered Tempe and Mesa. They're in that Southeast Valley. There's another one besides Chandler, I think, down, and I can't remember it. But that's, this is actually quite a number of incorporated cities within the Phoenix metro area that are interesting cities. I'm going to get my thought together and make a more comprehensive video on the subject matter when I think about it. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay, love y'all. Let's keep life interesting and exciting. Somebody wants another video like this, let me know. Okay, bye-bye.